Hi, good afternoon to everyone. Maybe some of you know me, some of you know. So I introduce myself again. My name is Joe, and this is Miss Teoh.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ling here.
Yeah. So today we have a quite interesting topic. As you both of you who know us, we are medical personnel.
Yeah.
But today we're not going to talk about anything about medical. So we want to talk something nice, something different. As you know, this probably the last event for this year's for this talk. So is this the time that we're celebrating our Christmas? Maybe some of them at home, so some of them will with restrictions, and we've been through quite a lot from now. So what do you think, still for this whole year, what you have learned, what you have encountered?
Yeah, this year is it's a very, very special year for everyone. Yeah, it's such a chaotic year. It's such a, a year whereby that, everyone is like, probably had a lot of plan in 2019, especially traveling. And it just proven to us that whatever you have planned may not actually turn out as what you want. You know, why? Because 2020 is such a year whereby that people had never experienced it before or had ever even expected it to be like that. You know, it's such a time whereby there is what I always say, the invisible king. This COVID, I always feel that, it's like an invisible king, that it is actually nobody dare to go against him. And he can actually rule the whole world without us actually can say, no, you don't come near me, because you can't see him. There's no rules, no boundaries, no economic status, no color, no creed. Don't care whoever you are or how rich your country is. I'll be there. The great king will be just say, I'll be there. And then what can you do? What can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It's really something that we have to talk about it.
Yeah, So, but to me, there's whatever happened, there is always a blessing in disguise. You can actually take it as something that is really, really sad, that you have to drown yourself in, that you're not going to do anything, or it's something as a stepping stone, or some people will actually really drown themselves in for the whole year, But I always feel that there is some thing that we can do. No doubt, like, this is very inconvenient to each and every one of us. Often the time that, but whatever the changes is, or no matter how bad the situation is, there is always a silver lining in the cloud, right?
Yes.
There's something good,
yes,
right? This definitely cannot be so bad until that it's so bad in every way. But there's some good in some way, So that is how I think about this. And this year is so special, in a way that when I look back, especially we human beings, it's somehow we are very special in a way that, when you look at ourselves, we have never thought of it, maybe like a few years back, that we will work from home, especially work from home. And can you imagine, like, you're having kids at home, and then people will think that, how am I going to work from home? Things like that.
It's kind of funny. When the time that we are still have to work in the office, we always think about those engineers. They tell us that they actually work from home. So like, wow, what the luxurious things, like we can sleep until what we want, then we just respond when we call. Now we are experiencing that. So it's a little bit different from what we are experiencing, and the imagination is kind of weird. So like what you see in the picture, we have to do quite a lot of things.
Yes, especially the children also cannot go to school. And you can imagine that, especially in a small house, a small household with a few kids around, and then the husband and wife who has never worked together, and they realize that this is what you do, and this is what I do, and at the same time in the same room with the kids running around. I think this is something that it is people have to adapt, and surprisingly, we can adapt. And now it's year end, so it's like we are already adapting for at least 8 months or so, So, well, I think this is a new norm.
Yeah.
People are enjoying it, and then
we have to enjoy it.
But,
one way or another.
But all the time, you look and see how people have they tell you a lot of stories, and how they actually work from at home, and how especially those parents with kids who are so uncontrollable. And especially mothers, or parents with toddlers and all that, how they are going to cope, and at the same time work. So it's such a amazing time. I would say those with kids at home. Yeah. So like Master Chen Yan always tell us that whatever happens, we must have a very strong faith in us. When we have a strong faith, then the fear. You overcome the fear, and then we can achieve the impossible. Like last time when we tell you that you have to look after the kids, at the same time, work at home, at the same time, you have to cook your 3 meals, you will just say impossible. But then you are doing it now, right?
Yeah.
So whatever happened, over all these things, if you look at the whole pandemic, it's not standalone virus infection. But if you actually look into in depth of the whole thing, it is very much interconnected.
True.
And then none of us in nature that you can live alone. Even the virus, it cannot be a pandemic by itself without us human. But without there is a host to transmit from the animals, and you see how we are interconnected in all ways, in nature. So none of us can ever, on your own. So this is something I really learned.
True. So actually, one thing that I really crossed into my mind is that human being is one of the most adaptive beings ever in the earth, because we have been through quite a lot of things, from the changes from beyond where anything we can now, like discovering a fire. So life was changes, and we have adapting into a different situation, and we have been through quite a lot. So I think this is another way that we know that we can go through. So just be ourselves to be more believe in the faith, have more faithful that we know we can go through. Just that how we find out the way, go through it. I think this is going to be a very interesting life and experience.
Human can be adaptive.
Yes.
But I think nature, which is much more, it is not only adaptive, they can actually live on their own.
Yes.
But we human cannot, no matter how we change, how adaptive we are. So even things like everything are impermanent and they are interconnected. But then somehow the nature, it is so, so great that it is, they can, on their own, and they change and they help and supported each other in their very own way, So with this pandemic, I think each and everyone have different experiences. But most importantly, I think we need to be aware and awaken and realize that, nature is something that we have to look at, and then don't go against nature. That's what I always tell myself. And then, we have to be grateful to Mother Earth for all the resources that, she has provided and given to us. And then we have to be grateful for all the abundance of resources. Rather than, but, currently what I can see is that we are actually abusing it, and we only take and take and take, and then we are not even appreciate it at all. So I think this is something that we have to realize during this pandemic. And over this time, I think because of this MCO, CMCO, and things like that, and because of the fear, many of us are started to cook at home. So this is something interesting. I think this is a good point, right? Something that actually I feel that this is something that we should go back to our grandmother's time or our mother's time, whereby we actually should be cooking and eating more at home. Unlike like modern day so-called fast food, or let's go, everything is like whatever meals come is the only thing of restaurant rather than home cooked food. So this is something I think a point for us to look at. And coming nearer to our topic now is something that on gardening. And more people, if you look at Facebook now, we have this tiny plot, garden goo, a lot of all this, everything related to gardening. And most important, get your hands dirty. That is what I like, get your hands dirty.
You know what? When the time was MCO, I started to cook quite some time for my family. So that is the thing that when we start to get into preparations, we actually use up quite a lot of time. So I actually come to a video mentioning that when there is about 5 to 6 people at home, the mother or the one who preparing food, actually they use up almost the whole day time preparing breakfast. After breakfast, then you'll be start to another like lunch, then another hour you have to start preparing dinner. And when that time, I was thinking myself that I will wish to have a garden that I can pick it freshly from outside. So actually, I'm thinking about gardening too. So how do you think about the gardening? Once I was in my young time, I was living in the corner house. So I have a big garden. So at the time I was big garden, when I was so small, about like 6 to 7 years old, my house has not much of things to do, but I always remember that I have to cut the grass. And I have to soften the ground for my mother to sow seeds. And getting my hands dirty is not really a fun thing to do.
But I think it's something that we we can actually get back to. But I like the point that whereby those parents or those who are preparing food at home, we the one who are eating, we tend to take for granted,
Sure.
or we think that food delivery.
Yes.
But I think it's something is for us to actually get back and look at is that food is prepared at home. It's never the same or how you cater or how good you get from a restaurant. So this
positive energy.
the energy,
The energy
yes,
is totally
and the
different.
love,
Energy.
is and the nutrients and your mother's love or your parents' love who put inside the food that is you can never get from a restaurant, no matter how good or how whatever high end the restaurant is. So it is something that is really
Like your
different.
parents can be doing something else,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
instead they have
Yeah,
to cook
cook.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
take care of your daily.
Yes.
Have to yell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
So people come to cherish more
yes.
when it came to house cooking.
Yeah. So now we would like to share on the a topic whereby when you are start cooking at home, there is something what we call the kitchen waste.
Yes.
And then the point is that how I wouldn't say that you can exactly to a lot of people when they see the word zero, it's like it's so scary. How can it be zero? But fair enough. But what can you do a little from your kitchen waste? It may not be zero yet, but for me, being zero is quite easy because of being a vegetarian. To do that, then you actually can go into zero as long as you know how you go from your shopping to your marketing and then to how you prepare, then you can actually be zero. I can share with you all later as we go along. But then from your kitchen to a healthy soil and how we go in. Come, let's go and talk about it. So that is why we want to talk about composting. And composting from your kitchen waste. And if you look at our data, you know that there are lots of our waste is actually come from our kitchen or the wet waste.
I always think about, I always come about these words compost. Actually,
Yeah.
what does it really mean about compost? Does it mean that rottens or does it mean, what is it exactly?
Yeah, it's actually I wouldn't say rotten per se, but then they get decomposed at a certain combination. When the combination is right and you do it correctly, you will get a very healthy compost.
I see.
Okay, so let's go and then have a look at it, how we go about. Of course, before we kickstart, we need to understand why you want to do it first, right? Why you want to do it. Otherwise, you won't get started, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, you know that our landfill is getting less and less. Okay, so that is something that you and I can do a little, or at every household. A little things that we can do. Here, I would think that don't think big, but think of how little things or what little things I can do or contribute. So the first thing is to reduce the waste to the landfill. Okay, so it's from our house, every household, and then what to fully utilize your kitchen waste to be something useful, right? And at the same time, like if you are doing gardening, you will be very proud of yourself and all your plants will be very happy because you are providing a very good natural nutrients to the soil. At the same time, you are actually feeding a very good organism which we are supposed to learn to live together with them in harmony, rather than always think of organism as something bacteria must kill, virus must kill, they are bad, that is something I think we have to learn to live harmoniously with them and coexist. That's the word. And of course, of all this is definitely good for environment, which is good for environment, is good for you and me.
Yeah.
Correct?
True.
So this is the basic point.
I have a question to ask in
Yes.
terms of the first thing is about landfill waste.
Yes.
Actually, what's the harm for landfill? Like we always think landfill. Yeah, we learn a lot of these
Yes.
this keyword from
Yes.
our development government or any project at all. They say, oh, this is the landfill
Yes.
project. What actually landfill did to our environment? Isn't though that we just fill up the land, and what does it mean?
First of all, we have limitation of land already. And when you put it there, it emits out this carbon.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Carbon.
Yeah. And then at the same time, this, the pollution, it will go to the water, the soil, as well as the air. And then with the limitation of this land, more we need to go and create more land, and then we need to clear the forest. So that is, I think, something that we should reduce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it actually any relation to the sea level rising up?
Yes,
Of the fumes,
temperature.
temperature as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, all these things is in terms of environment.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So
that's
let's.
what landfill did to our environment lah.
Yeah.
So generally, what is composting all about? But composting, you actually need three things. All right. You, of course, you need your compost pile, right? That is your green and your organic matters. Okay, but then there's two things that you need. There's air. You need air and you need moisture. So with this, with the natural microorganism is within the organic matters, they actually helps to compost. So generally, this is a nature way of composting.
I see.
All right. So this is just a simple way of explaining it.
Okay.
All right. So I think this is a key point here is how we kickstart. All right. So just to share with you, there are many ways. No right, no wrong, no best, no good, no whatever.
Yeah.
But there are a few ways. Okay, I would say ways. Of course, there's an on-site composting whereby you can use your bins. You can use the change one, or you can actually simply use any tong you can get at home. Okay, but the tong must be you drill holes so that you can air it and ensure that you have the liquid it will drain. So that is what I say the tong side the tong or the
bin method.
the bin method. Okay, so of course you want the cover so that you don't want any pests to go in. All right, so that is how the first one. Okay, on-site composting or the bin composting. The second one is open. Open one, I would think I would rather use for garden, because sometimes if you throw wrong things in, then you may invite rats and things like that. But then if you do it correctly and if your pile is correct, we will discuss later, you produce enough heat, then they wouldn't want to come anyway.
I can see quite a lot of ways you have been putting in. So you just now mentioned that there is certain methods that we have to be fixed so that it can be a success compost rather than a different shades of compost.
Yeah, but then that one we can discuss later. But then this one just is a ways of how you can kickstart first. Yeah, that one is a combination. We can discuss later. So another way is that we can use a dig and cover. That means you just correct lubang, and then you just dump in.
That's all we know.
So there's a different way. Another way is the in-vessel composting. That one is very chunky one. That one you have to buy the tong. Okay, the tong, you buy the tong is a very chunky and they have compartment and then they have the roller type of thing, so it's very chunky. And then of course you can get in the market or you can direct dig a hole and then you put it inside, so we had different way.
If anyone on the online now, you have any way that is different from here, you can share on the chat, then we can see here, so maybe we can share on what different experience. This is a nice thing to share about.
Yeah, you can share. Okay, so I will share with you all what I personally practice. Okay, so I will share with you all personally I practice actually 4 methods that I would say. 4. Okay, on the far left one is a bin. So I actually have 3 bins at home with lid. Of course, that one with lubang. You drill holes and then you put your waste there, kitchen waste.
There's a holes between that.
The holes. All the holes there.
Okay.
And then the most important thing is at the base. So you need to drain the liquid out in case it's too wet. Okay.
So we need that is holes at the beside and also hole
at the bottom. Yes. So that is the one. And then on the far right top is actually the worm tower. I think this is very interesting. Worm tower you can use.
You put the worm inside?
I don't put worms inside, but then of course there are people who actually buy the what they call the African red worm or something like that. But earthworm. But personally, I actually very scared of worm. So what I do is that I get this water pipe, the huge water pipe. I drill holes and then I tanam inside the ground. So you actually you ground it at the level where the holes where actually you put your food compost in. And then the earthworm will be very happy to go in there to eat all your food. The only thing they don't like is citrus.
Citrus.
They don't like citrus and pineapple skin, so don't put that.
I see.
Oh.
Other than that, you can put coffee ground, you can put banana peel, you can put other fruit peels. They will love it. So they will just go in and they will make themselves their home.
I see.
They will eat up your whatever that kitchen waste that you put in. At the same time, they will pull, and then they will air the ground around there. So they actually provide all the fertilizer for your plant. And then it is a very easy way to control your kitchen waste. You just have to throw it in.
So as is for a question for the worm tower, right? It's like anything can throw. Like for example, my mom cooked leftover vegetable. It's oily and
No.
can throw it.
Non-cooked food. That one we'll talk later. Non-cooked food.
Okay.
So it's kitchen waste that is non-cooked and non-meat. We'll discuss that later.
All right.
Okay.
When we come to worm tower, I always think that okay, we keep the worm as pets, so we have to feed them something.
Yeah. In a way, it's like a pet. That is what I always call them 小朋友.
Oh, nice.
They are my 小朋友. But frankly, I don't go and dig and look for them. But I know they are around a lot. Actually, when you do some digging and all that, they are always around.
Okay.
I'll share later what type of ground and soil we have. Alright?
When there's food, they will come.
Yes, definitely. Another one is the dig. You dig a hole, you correct, and then you cover.
Dug and cover.
Dug and cover. Another one is open pile. But open pile for me, I would normally for my garden clips. So because sometimes garden clips whereby you have a lot of bigger bulb. So I just throw it at the same time. I just want to rotate my garden beds. So that is what I do lah. Okay. So
does this actually replacing the fertilizer what we are using?
I use this as a fertilizer at the end. Okay. So I think that's why I said we go get back to the soil. So okay, back to the question, the do's and the don'ts. Okay, the do's are whatever fruits, vegetables, eggshells, garden clips, herbs, sawdust. Of course, sawdust is those untreated one.
Untreated means that
they don't put any
medicines.
chemical, all that.
All right.
Shredded newspaper, shredded paper and cardboard. I will look at it. For cardboards, I will go for the soft one, those unprinted ones. Those printed one I don't take because first it is hard. Second one, I don't know what type of ink. The ink may be poisonous, so I think I will try to avoid that.
So the papers you mentioned is the one we write on and we can shut it out, those papers?
Yes, but then I would try to use those non-printed one. So but then I try so far, I use cardboards that soft one, those brown, really brown papers.
I see.
Yeah, so I will use that.
Okay.
And then coffee, the coffee ground, tea bags, your wood chips, your shells, seaweed, whatever, anything that is by nature that you can get. All right. Any plant-based material is fine. Okay. No cooked food. The don't one is definitely no cooked food. No meat products. As I say, I'm a vegetarian, so it's very easy. I definitely do not have that. Dairy food. Animal poo. No. Okay. Weeds is because they have all the seeds and then you will have the whole grass all over there. That one you tao tia already.
You just mentioned about those things. I remember what they do in China. They collected animal ducks and human ducks to collecting this for fertilizing.
That is an ancient way, and of course, if you are treated, and then there's a different story lah. They have actually can be called it's treated.
It's treated.
But of course, if the animals is like a herbivore, like you got kambing,
I see.
You got your cow, you got your horse. They are all herbivore, and then they definitely use for the poo for manure. All right, but as a house pet, what we have normally is cats and dogs. I don't think so. It's a good idea, Okay. Yeah. Any oil, any cooked food? No. Or disease, when you know that your garden clippings is all got disease or got bugs, then don't lah, and then poultry, fish, meat, whatever. No.
I remember I collect the coffee grounds.
Yeah.
And after somehow it got molded.
Yeah.
Is it considered disease or?
No, the mold is actually quite fine. The mold is because it is wet, it is damp.
Okay.
So by nature, when it is damp, you have mold.
Oh.
So it's natural. It's a natural reaction in the world, that's happening. So you just mix it up. No harm. Okay. Coffee ground, I tell you, my 小朋友 will love it. That's the earthworm will love coffee ground.
Wow.
Okay, that is their best food. They love it.
Okay.
All right. And then when you want to do a compost, there's two parts two components that you need to know. Okay, one is what we call the brown, and one is what we call the green. So and don't overstress yourself. What is brown? What is green? Actually, all right. But then I'll share with you how I balance up. But generally, all the browns by the colors of brown.
Okay.
Coffee ground, surprisingly, coffee ground is
green.
Is green because they are nitrogen.
All right.
Even though it's black. Because it's nitrogen, right? So it is under green. Otherwise, your dried leaves, your shrubs, your twigs, cupboards, your concobs, they are all brown, carbon.
Oh, right. I can see maybe the different way I categorize. I look at the brown side is a little bit more drier than the green.
Yes. That's one of the key points. Okay. Another one is the green are anything from your kitchen. Anything that is fresh. It is green. So now is that how you're going to mix these two? Okay, there are a lot of thoughts and a lot of school of saying, but through my personal experience, there is no way you're going to follow any one of it because there is no way you're going to measure it. There is no way that you are going to, actually go and ratio it out. No way. You actually will just throw it.
Okay.
So, and by experience, you will know how to balance it. Okay, so the key is how you want to do it. First, you can do it layer. You can mix it, but a lot of the time, somehow or other, we will sort of layer it. But as you go along, you need to, mix it.
I just noticed that you mentioned by experience, eventually you're correct.
Yeah.
So what are the bad experience? What will happen if we do it wrong? What is the
the common thing is like it's too much green, which is common because most of your kitchen waste are green and they are wet.
Okay.
So when they are too wet, stinky.
One thing is that
it's really stinky. And when it is too wet, you will have or you have fruit worms, and we will come to that later.
Okay.
But anyway, the smell itself will kill you off or put people off already.
So maybe everyone can remember one thing. If it's a smell, you are not doing in the right way. Try another one.
You don't need to throw away actually, you don't need to throw away. You can still be used. It can be stinky, but no worry. Then you make sure that your holes in the pail, if you're doing in the pail method, the bin method, you make sure your holes is not blocked, and then you can actually drain the liquid. And then you just add more browns. More browns like your dry leaves or your cupboard. And then if you can see from the picture, this is what I do. This is actually from my own bin. You can see I put a lot of brown. There's
these are the cupboards, I think.
The soft cupboards.
Okay.
So you see, if you look at it, it's not wet. It's not soggy.
Okay.
But if you look at it, it's damp.
It looks like fluffy.
It's moist, right? But it's not like basa until like that, So it is like just damp enough. But if you can have this type of combination, and then because I got a lid, and if you actually open up, you can actually feel the heat.
Oh.
The second point is heat.
That's nice.
You can actually feel the heat. All right.
Amazing.
So, and with the heat, then you will say, if you do the combination right with the heat, there is no worms inside at this earlier process.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then as the time goes about, then it will go to the second on the right side. It will come down. The volume will come down.
So no flies, no nothing to come catch around.
Fly. There is one good fly. Which is one good fly. But we'll come to that also. But so how you know? Like what you asked, how you know your compost is working, right?
Okay.
So most importantly, no smell lah.
All right.
The moment you got smell, of course the smell is no. When I say no smell means it cannot be no smell until like you perfume one lah. You know that, but it has a earthy smell.
Earthy smell.
Is it more like enzyme smell?
Enzyme is a soury smell. But it's not that smelly until it's busuk-busuk.
It's not like rotten.
Not like rotten egg. If it is too wet, it will be like rotten egg. You can't smell it. I mean, you can't stand the smell. But then when I said no smell means you may have the earthy smell. Something that is actually quite comforting.
Is it something like when you go through a
jungle,
run through, you will smell the woods and the the pureness of the air.
Yes, yes. So that should be the smell. All right. Okay, and it shouldn't be too wet.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be too wet. It's just like it's damp. That's all.
Okay.
And then of course when you look at it, your level of compost will come down as they so-called the composting. Okay.
Drop down, you mean that it
It goes down.
okay.
It can be you put until the full to the pail, but then it will just come down.
I
Right.
see.
And then everything should break down. Of course, it will take time. Okay, the timing depends on how small you cut or how small you tear, your temperature, your combination of brown and green, and generally it can be as fast as about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to 3 months. So it depends on how you do it yourself. Okay, and then at the end, if you're doing it right, you should have some worms. And I said worms is actually worms, and you have a composter box, which I'll share later.
Okay.
And you can actually feel the heat. So this is something that is working well, right? Okay. And bear in mind, this is nature in work,
Okay.
Don't rush them. And they are nature, all right?
They don't have deadlines.
Don't push them. Don't.
Okay, estimated days for when they get.
No, sorry, no. So you don't. It also depends how much work you put in, like how small you cut. You have to actually stir up, to air it in between along the way, maybe every week or every 2 weeks, So when you air them, you actually hasten up the whole process. Okay. Then people always say smelly, got flies lah, got all that, right? Let me tell you true, I have been doing that for many, many years, but then as long as you don't put any meat, no bones, no food, no cooked food and all that, definitely there is no household flies.
Okay.
Household fly, the lalat, no lalat, is household fly. But
Good.
there's one fly that will come, but I'll share you all later. So the soil is actually alive, right?
Yeah.
So it is very important. Without soil, it's without you and me already. You know that, not? So we are actually, when we're doing composting, we are actually assisting the soil to build life. So this is something that what we want to do, and I'm encouraging you to look into soil as a life. Right?
I do believe that soil is like, because we always call Mother Nature.
Yes.
We all grow from it. We all eat those plantations, which is come from soil. If it's a soil is healthy, I think that what we have been eaten definitely will be more healthy.
So it starts with a mind concept to tell you guys that soil is like a living thing.
Yes.
But usually people will take it for granted.
Yes.
But I think
Not only for granted, people always think that soil is dirt. Dirt must wash off, something that I think soil is something that we have to look at it now at different angle, a different point of view, as something that is life, and it is something that where we can actually live together with them and work on it together.
Yeah.
We earlier on we're having a very nice questions from Wang Sen Sixiong. He actually tell us to solve the mystery. Why? Suppose we do from the compost, should we start from young age, middle age, old age, or by all ages actually we should?
To me, it should start from each and every one of us in every household, whereby in your household from the youngest to the oldest.
Why?
Because from the youngest you eat, from the oldest you also eat.
True.
You need food.
True.
Right? At the same time, it's educational. And then for the young, especially these friends here, it's a very good educational for them. So for the young, it's educational from them to understand how the food come about, how we live together harmoniously with insects and with soil. That's important. And the mother also have to learn that when your kid's hand is dirty with soil, don't quickly go and wash off and tell her dirty, so they become phobia.
Later the kids come to put in the mouth.
Yeah, but then there are certain level of hygiene, but then soil don't implant to them is dirt.
So,
all right.
So apart from letting the kids know about the knowledge of the composing and all the dirt, like the soil, we call it the soil living thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like we are trying to tell the teenagers whereby like, are they about to learn what they daily have been prepared? Like start from their mothers, like they prepare the breakfast, correct?
Yeah.
And like dinners and all that. But do they ever think of how long their parents have prepared the things, what they used to prepare, and
Yes.
all these things, all the processes that go through all this usually is the most important part of
Yeah.
the entire thing. Instead
Yeah.
of like, oh, I got to eat breakfast today.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we see is like nowadays teenagers are usually, like foresee this
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, and most importantly, is how much waste they are created.
Yes.
So back to this, of course, related to this topic is the waste. So when it comes to this, how much you prepare food and things like that, and how much you have created the waste, especially from the kitchen, and to a lot of people, it's just to the dustbin. But then, in time to come, it will affect the environment. Can you imagine, like if you compare my time when I was a little kid, the temperature and the environment is
Those
different.
are totally different.
So if my time, in each and every one were to actually doing this composting and environmental care, I think now, 30, 50 years later, we don't experience this.
True.
Correct?
True.
So, but because we didn't do that, so can you imagine if this few generations and somehow they don't do it, and it will get worse, it will not get any better. So yeah.
I think that is the reason on why our age should also start, because we have to teach our next generation what is going on.
Yeah, so the whole household actually should get involved. Anyway, back to our friends in the composting. People are very afraid.
Yes.
So the first thing I want to let you all know, even I don't like. I actually very afraid. I actually very girly of earthworms, but then no matter what, I know they are my friends, so I have to learn and adapt to them. And they are my friends now. But until today, I don't touch them. I had to be very careful with them because all my garden bed is full of them now. Okay, so earthworm is part and parcel of a healthy soil. All right. Second, flies. Okay,
flies.
I want you all to know that there is one fly called black soldier fly.
Black soldier fly.
Black soldier fly, the larva is actually the best composter. They are not maggots, and they are actually these.
But it looks like maggots.
Yeah, this their surface, their skin is actually harder.
Oh.
And there are a lot of these waste management company. They are actually rearing this fly black soldier fly larva as a composter.
Oh, you mean company actually buying?
They feed them. They grow them. They're breeding them as a composter. So they are actually great composters. So if you were to have them in your bin, no worry, because the black soldier fly, the life is actually 7 days and they die already. Yes. Yeah, they have a very short life, and then they won't harm you. They are harmless. They actually feed on compost. So by nature, that is their home. So give them home, and it benefits you. Okay, so don't worry about black soldier fly. Okay. Of course you have ants, but then if you have ants, then your heat is too dry. All right. So because like I mentioned, once you have enough built up heat in combination of green and brown, you will build up certain heat, and no ants will build home there. So you are free from ants.
Does that mean that I need to have a little bit amount of it to have the heat, or is it because of the beans?
Okay, the bigger the pile, the better it is, so that they can actually trap the heat. Yeah, but then there may be not practical for a house that who do not have a bigger homes. But any bin that is about 3 feet or so.
I remember you shared to me there's other ways they can do it indoors.
So that is actually different. Another one is sawbugs. Sawbug is a small little tiny bugs which is also harmless. And then if they are a lot in your bin, means that your bin is too wet. Right?
Okay. I see.
Too wet.
Just
too
wet.
wet. So the sawbug is also harmless. They are also composters. Just leave them alone.
Okay, so
same with millipedes. Not centipede, it's millipedes. Millipedes is actually harmless as well. They don't.
You see this a lot.
Yeah, so they actually harmless. They actually helps to clean up. So.
So ants are for too dry, so bugs are for too wet.
Yes,
Okay.
So, but then if your combination is right, you don't see these two.
I see.
But I would love to have soldier fly, larvae. It is actually quite, they are composted.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Okay, personally, indoor composting, I have not done it. But there are other ways. Maybe this is what I have read up.
Yeah.
You can get a composter in the market online, whatever. But I have friends who have, you know, the layer thingy. I have friends that are doing on the layer. And then if you actually go YouTube, there are actually they teach you a lot of methods, you know. But then no matter what you watch, you have to put into practice and what is best for yourself.
What is it about? It's layering. So
it's like a drawer. It's a plastic drawer. But then you look at it closely. I think they must have holes, you know. And then they go by layer and layer. So they, as I said, the whole process actually can be as long as three months. So you finish up, you pile up the whole pile, and then you leave it for them to compost. Let the nature takes its work, and then you start another drawer.
I think there is something collector here.
Yeah, they may be. You need to let the fluid to drain out. It's just like the other composter, you know, on the left hand.
Is it something is with what we do with this pipe to drain out the water? Is it the same thing?
Yes, and then you use that as a fertilizer.
Oh wow!
You add water.
Add water.
You cannot go and pour into your plant this concentrated.
Oh, it's too concentrated.
Yes, you kill the plant.
I see.
So is it the picture for the far left?
Far left one, yes. But personally, I have not done that. Then you have bokashi, you can a lot of other methods. But I think that one you can actually read up because
bokashi is this one there.
But But personally, I have not done all these methods so I cannot share much on this. So far, any question?
So we'll have to look to our live chat.
Same things to kitchen.
You can start to respond to them. Like for
Same
example,
things
people
to
say
kitchen
morning.
rice,
Say good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. So
she does composting.
Okay. Yeah. So doing DIY fruit enzymes or food household. Okay. So I think your enzyme is the one to use for washing but not drinking, is it?
So it's
household enzyme. I do that as well. I do that. Fruit peel enzyme.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. Fruit peel enzyme is really good.
Washing dish.
Say
that, right?
Yeah, she's doing well. She get a lot of black soil for her gardening.
That's nice.
Yeah. So while waiting for more questions coming in, maybe I continue sharing first.
Sure.
Yeah, but questions can come in now. Just to share with you all, like initially my soil was really it's actually clay soil.
This is your house?
Yeah. This is the original soil that when I started, I can't do any gardening because it is actually basically clay and stones.
I recognize this. This is the one that my mom makes me to dug out. But after that, she just plants seeds and
it never grows. Yeah, but then if you when I first started, I can't even find one xiaopenyo. Even one earthworm.
So that means there's no insects or whatsoever.
No organic.
It's like a pure scent from
sand and clay.
Sand and clay. It's purely clay, right? It is clay and stone. So it is, you cannot grow anything. You tanam whatever, it will just die.
Why is it that? Why is it so?
Because there's no organic matter.
Okay, no organic matter.
No organic matter, and there is no nutrients for the plants.
I see.
So when you have no nutrients, that I said we live, it's coexist, right?
Yes.
So your soil must be healthy, must have all the organic matters, and then all these little bugs, will come in. At the same time, they work on it, they pull, and then they give fertilizer to your plants, and they air the soil. So when you don't have all these things, your plants just simply don't grow.
I see. So simply, I just dig it out and make it softer and pour water. It will not work.
It will not work. Like for this clay, you will just have stagnation of water if it is when it's raining.
Stagnation of water.
Because
so the water will be collecting there.
Yes. And then when it's a hot day, it will all harden up like a batu.
Yes, I remember that.
So basically you cannot grow anything. So what you do is like what you did, you have to clear off. And then so for initially what I did was I did the dig and then I tanam one. So that was the initial one. I just tanam.
Okay.
So I just dig and then everything throw in and then I mix with that soil and go along the way.
So
how I
feed? You don't plant anything. You just dig.
I feed the soil.
Feed the soil first. Yeah.
You need to feed the soil. So you need to feed the soil. Get the soil healthy enough before you can start. Okay. So once you have that, this is what your result will
Wow.
be. Okay. So once you feed enough, these are over the time where I grow my vegetables.
How long from that, Ria?
Over the times, but for me, because if you look at it, I got one little bit. So I got no time. So I do one at a time.
Oh, okay.
So over the time.
Over the time.
Yeah. Like I said, when you do something, don't think too big.
Okay.
Don't think of something that is so big that you will stop yourself from doing it.
One at a time, bit by bit, gradually doing it.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. Okay. So you do at one at a time. You solve one problem at a time, and then when you see result, you got the home ready. You do another one. You know, when you do another one, also at the same time, you got more and more beds for you to plant more vegetables. So that is how you grow. And once you feed your plants with all the nutrients. And by nature, you got all these kind of pesticide-free vegetables, and you will love to enjoy, and you can compare the difference. You can taste the difference. That's the yes. You can taste the difference.
Compare with
what you bought from the market. Okay. So another point is like you can try the one that got fixed. I have fixed. That one is edamame. A lot of people think that we cannot grow, but it's actually edamame.
I thought these are only in
cold country.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought also, but I tried.
My wife is gonna love that.
You can actually grow from your soya. You buy organic soya, and you can just plant them.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
And then you get that, and then you harvest along the way.
Edamame is soy.
Edamame is actually soya.
Oh, okay. I never know that.
Okay,
All right. Okay.
All right. So you can actually get that. You only plant. No, you don't have to specifically go and buy any specific, the seeds.
Just be we had.
But you need to get the soya, the organic soya.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you get as a seed lah. And then I had ginger, pineapple. Now I kind of give up because it took too long to grow. Pineapple, yeah, but it's so sweet.
Yeah.
I still have a few plants on the way, but then it's like you have to be really, really, really patient.
So it literally like take years.
Yes, you have to be really patient. Okay, so yeah, in a way I ignore them. Not particularly want to replant them. But ginger is great. Ginger is great.
Ginger is very good.
Yeah. So this is currently on my house on Mokwa. Mazi got Mokwa.
Okay, never see this. Looks nice.
I didn't plant it on my own. It grew on itself from the
attraction.
No, from my compost actually. It actually compost. So it must be along the way some seeds or the birds. My house got a lot of birds. So somehow or the is gifted by the birds. I don't know, but it grew from the compost. Not personally. I go and tanam one.
Interesting.
Okay.
And it grows well.
The gift from
the nature.
The nature.
Yeah. So this mokwa, to date I had about eight already.
Wow.
Yeah.
This size.
Yeah, this size.
Wow.
That's
That's a nice one. Yeah.
Nice.
And of course bitter gourd. Bitter gourd is easy to plant. Yeah. Okay. Kokwa. So at the end, just to share with you all again, it's like remember your soil is life. Love and feed our soil.
Yeah.
So what you think from the kitchen is maybe is a waste to you now that you can actually reconsider it as something that you can fully utilize to feed your soil. Okay, so just another effort to put in, but your outcome and result can really be very fascinating. And of course, it is really brings a lot of benefits to you as well as to the environment.
True.
So remember, there's no life without soil. Not you and me.
Yes.
Not you and me. So we need to love our little bugs that we need to love and live together with them.
I think is what we understand, when we understand like you're doing yourself, and then you start to know and learn about the bugs. Then even though, yes, if we look at it, we'll get gilly, but we know that there are no harm, they are going to be benefit for us. So yes, that is one way when you have knowledge, we have understand about it. then I think we can accept it.
Yeah, a lot of people will think that maggots,
Yeah.
as long as you don't put meat,
Mhm.
cooked food, you will never get maggots because they only feed on rotten meat and that food, but not on these kitchen waste in terms of like greens and vegetables. They don't feed on that. But the black soldier fly, the larvae feed on that. So each and every one have their own role. But if you just need to understand them and get it right, I think this fear and these wrongdoings along the way, then you do it and then you learn along the way. That's how we evolve together.
So what are the differences if you use compost and fertilizer? Would it be like over compost or things like that?
You can never over compost. You can put more compost into your plants, they will never die. But if you put extra fertilizer, your plants will definitely die.
Oh,
that's true.
Okay.
So it's fertilizer that if you add it on
Too much,
then the plant will get.
you'll die.
Oh.
But if you put extra compost, your plant will never die.
So the compost, the difference between compost and fertilizer.
Yes. Yeah.
It's natural.
It's natural. It's part of the soil.
it's part of the soil.
Okay. And then of course, unless your fertilizer are organic, from this herbivore manual, then it's different. Otherwise, they put a lot of chemicals. So even though they're from animals like chicken dung and all that, but then you remember now chicken, they are being fed with a lot of antibiotics, a lot of, so somehow or other it will get into your soil. So that
and eventually come to us.
Yes, eventually. Yeah. So yeah.
I think as what we have learned that so far, by using good soil to have a good food, you must have a good soil. So by doing good soil, you do compost, and from there and then you love and change the world by doing each of us every other things. Use zero waste, be vegetarian. Easy for us to deal with the landfills, and also we can help a little bit by here and there to give the earth life and bring us health together for our mankind.
Yeah. I think that is very
quite
important. And then things, you don't have to think it's something really big, but let's start small.
Yeah.
You can even start with pots or anything at home. Even that you are living in an apartment. I have friends that he have been doing in their apartment and they are doing quite well. So they have, even in their apartments, at the same time, they do have what we call the balcony edible gardens. So I'm sure that you can do it. Yeah, balcony edible gardens, So
You also share with me that you have been doing quite a lot of enzyme. Maybe next topic we talk about the enzymes.
Yeah, there's a question there.
There's a question. Because I'm thinking, Evelyn oil, isn't it?
On
the matter of enzyme.
exam for drinking a different topic.
Never mind, we'll ask Mr. to share another time.
Yeah, can, but you can actually get on YouTube. But then, they are enzyme for drinking. But then, that's another side topic. But then, quite related to this composting, is a fruit peel.
Yeah, the methods are quite similar, one layer to another layer, but just different.
No. I'm talking about fruit peel enzyme. I mean, of course, from the kitchen waste, fruit peel.
Yeah.
So personally, I'm doing this enzyme as well for cleaning. All right. So it's also from your kitchen waste.
Oh.
So, but I'm very selective. I only use pineapple skin, citrus, like oranges, lemon. So and then I have a portion of 100 grams of brown sugar to 1 liter of water, and then so I don't really, I do it for so many years until I don't measure, but then the sugar is like 100 grams to a liter.
Oh, it must be a specific ratio.
Yeah. But then if you don't, then if you put 2 liter, then you may have like what you said, then you have things going. But then if you don't have too much, then you will have ants coming in. But then what I do is that I depends on the container I have. So let's say if I have a 10 liter container, I'll fill up 5 liter. I only fill half of the container. So half container is 5 liter. So I have 5 liter, then I have 500 grams of the brown sugar.
I see.
Then I keep throwing in my citrus. I don't measure because there's no way you're going to measure.
Okay.
Right? So you just keep on throwing your pineapple skin, your citrus, your lemon skin up to a little bit, another inch or so. Air, close tight. Maybe first few days you release it to let go the air, and then
Shake it.
yeah, you submerge it. I won't say shake it, you submerge it, and then 3 months later you've got a very good enzyme for your cleaning, for mopping. I love it to mop the floor.
Okay.
So that's what I do. So this is quite related to your kitchen waste. Yeah. Okay, any more questions? 1, 3, 10.
Yeah, Emily is sharing about the ratios.
Yeah,
One,
yeah,
two,
but
three,
then I
10.
find that especially is sometimes very difficult. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
agak-agak is
agak
fair
already.
enough.
So after you do it, you will agak-agak already. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, because it's no way that you're going to measure.
Okay, thank you very much for your time for sharing this about the composted, which is quite interesting topic, which I agree to start from learning from science. Then we understand about what is it benefit for us, mankind, and why we have to do it. So join us, do more, start from small. We should make a lot of changes. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to it. Thank you.
So if I were to end, before we ending, right, I came in with another trick question. Every time I do this,
Wow.
It's not about the question and answers, okay? It's about what you are about to tell. Any live audience right now that's joining us right now, thank you for coming to join our lives. And if there's a sentence where if you want to tell the audience right now, which sentence without explanation you want to tell the audience from the world?
Each and every household can do composting. You and I can do it. So this is something for yourself as well for the environment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For sharing today.
Thank you, Anson.
We'll
Thank
see,
you,
we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
you.